Hey folks, this week's episode is featuring the quarantine crew from earlier in COVID. The players are Lee Lamson-Quay, Bianca Sia, and Punky Johnson. I'm speaking at the top of this episode for two reasons. One, it is actual chaos, and I had to edit it down by a lot because everyone was in a different city and literally no one was paying attention. It was intense. That's first. Secondly, Punky Johnson is an amazing comic and person. I literally get choked up thinking about who she is as a friend and a human that I deeply respect. Punky has worked so hard to make gains in this industry. If you don't believe me, listen to her solo episode on this very podcast. And a few weeks ago, we were able to say openly that she has become the newest cast member of SNL for its 46th season. She deserves this so much, and she will enhance the show in ways we will most assuredly all be blessed by. So please excuse the chaos of this episode and enjoy it. We still wanted to release it because getting her back on Service from Hell might prove to be just a bit tougher in the future, and we couldn't be happier for her. We love you, punks. We cannot wait to see you on our TVs. Everybody watch SNL. Look for her. You already know and love her. Let's get after it. I just got a text from Punky saying, relax, hoes. I'm trying to figure this shit out because our podcast today is going to be via Skype because Zoom has all these weird rules. And like, if you go over 40 minutes, you got to start paying and blah, blah, blah. Whatever. Skype's free. So we are having a reunion episode right now with all of the quarantine crazies, and they gave me a lot of bonus episodes, and we're hoping that in the future the conversation changes from about quarantine to about anything else, because at this point I'm sick of talking about it. We're sick of dealing with it, but things have changed for everyone actually that's about to be on the podcast. And so I have a lot of questions, some of which you guys have sent, some of which you guys have called me with, text with, asked about kind of what's going on for everyone. And yes, since we last ended our last recording, everything has changed. And I believe one of us at least is back to work. And so we want to get followed up with that and just catch you guys up in general. But hopefully, I thought this bonus episode was going to just be us talking about how amazing it was to, have everything back up and running up in LA and that we were all going to be there together. And had you told me that this was going to go into August and conceivably beyond then, I would have been just gobsmacked. I wouldn't have known what to say. So, here we are. It's August. And at the date of this recording, it's August the 9th. This episode isn't going to air until September, but, I hope that by the time it airs, everything is different. But I don't know. So this is the quarantine crew getting back together and trying to figure it out. All right, here we go. Oh, hey, hoes.
Hi, is Hammy on?
So she tried to call in, so I think she has it, but something happened.
Hey, she made it.
Hey, Punky.
Y'all pissed off.
What'd you say, Punks?
I said y'all pissed.
No, not pissed at all.
We just thought that Nick had killed you, and
I'm dead.
Punky, do you have, I don't know if you're at a house or a restaurant where you're at, but do you have headphones or anything where your audio can be a little better? I don't know. It looks kind of like she might be at a restaurant.
Are you at a restaurant?
I'll be, yeah. So listen, in like 5 minutes, I'm gonna go outside where it's quiet.
Okay.
This bitch is at Chuck E. Cheese trying to do your podcast. You dickhead.
But can y'all, Bianca, if you two are gonna talk, can you mute your computer so I can do the intro without hearing
Yes, you assholes. I muted mine, you fucking freak.
Ew, go back to Chuck E. Cheese, loser. Go back to fucking Cheesecake Factory, you bitch.
Oh, I forgot that this is chaos. Oh, hi, you're listening to Service from Hell, a podcast featuring people that are currently in customer service positions or the lucky few that got out and all of the good, bad, and infinitely irritating things that go along with that work. I'm actor and writer Kate Gaffney, and I'm uniquely qualified to discuss this as I currently work, or I used to work, at a very busy and very popular comedy club in Los Angeles. And at least one of you listening right now has probably grabbed me and told me you were ready to order when I was running around like a crazy person. So let's eat. Okay, y'all, I'd like to welcome back our guests, the insane pack of wildebeest that got me through the first few months of quarantine. We have Punky Johnson, Lee Lamson-Quay, and Bianca Sia. This is the same ragtag group of idiots you heard throughout most of all of the previous bonus episodes for this COVID-19 time. And you all have emailed asking if we were going to do a follow-up episode. And I decided we needed to deliver because it has been since May. We haven't met up since May, which is insane to me. And we are now in August. This episode will air in September. So it's been so many months. And as it stands now, only 2 of us are in the same apartments and same cities as we were when we ended the first time around for all the bonus episodes. So we have a ton to catch up on, but we will for sure get to that. So I know all of you folks have a ton of questions and we've been emailed them. And so we're going to start that process once I think, Punky is at a restaurant. The girls are hungover from last night. So we're basically all back to our same bullshit. And so, you're about to hear all about it, y'all. And that's going to be it. So let's get to it. All right. So that's at least the intro. That's done.
Yeah, I am hungover. Now, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry, everybody. I didn't plan to do this. I didn't plan to be like this. I wanted to be ready for everybody, but I failed you. I failed you all. Forgive me.
You know what, Punky? It would be off-brand to be anything other than hungover right now, because since the other girls are out gallivanting around, I want to ask you. So she's laughing. So Punky, where are you right now? Are you in LA? Because it looks like you're in a restaurant somewhere. Talk to us.
I am in New Orleans, Louisiana, because I left LA. Fuck them expensive ass motherfuckers, bitch.
Word. How long have you been back in New Orleans, where you're from?
Since Father's Day, I came to surprise my father for Father's Day, and then I never fucking went back. LA is way too expensive, and I noticed that the food out here is like $1 less. Like the milk is $1 less. The meat is like $1, $2 less. Why do they do that to people in Los Angeles? It's already hard enough to live out there. Now they want us to fucking starve?
Yeah,
This is for me.
Isn't it nuts? And once you get out of it, you're like, oh, I normalized paying $25 for a cheeseburger. How weird of me. How dare I?
Exactly.
So Punky, so you went and surprised your father for 2 weeks, you surprised him for Father's Day. Did you quarantine for 2 weeks before you actually saw him?
No, because I drove. So what I did was after we protest, I quarantined for 10 days and then I drove, and that took me like another 5 days.
So you had...
And I didn't get on the airplane or anything. So my parents were like, all right, come on in, bitch.
Okay. And so what happened to your apartment in LA? Do you still have it?
I gave up my apartment. I no longer pay rent in that place.
Okay. So are you comfortable talking about, did you go by yourself or did you bring people with you on the journey to New Orleans?
I came out here, I drove with Feng Chao. And then we went to visit Nick in Oklahoma. And then Feng Chao got knocked the fuck out. And then after he got knocked out, we drove to New Orleans.
Oh my God, Feng Chao got knocked out. How? Why?
Because he's Feng Chao and he's stupid. All I know is, bitch, we was at a club and we was getting down, bitch. And then we was like, let's take a group picture. And as soon as we tried to take the group picture, Feng Chao went missing. We was like, where the fuck is Feng Chao? So we looked all over the place for Feng Chao. And then when we got outside, we saw him talking to these gangsters. So we tried to get him from the gangsters.
This is your fault if he did, Punky. You encouraged us. You encouraged him.
So me and Nick, we tried to go and get him. And the dudes that he was talking to was like, yay, you're lucky y'all came got him because we was about to fuck him up. And Feng Chao started talking shit. And then the dude was basically like, say one more thing. And then all I know is, I don't know what the one more thing that Feng Chao said, but that nigga said one more thing.
No. I heard he got his ass kicked. They were talking about it at the store the other night.
All I know is when he said one more thing, he got snuck.
No.
I mean, he wishes somebody would all the time, though. That's kind of his whole deal, is like push people to the limit because he wishes they would. Okay, so that's Lee's voice and Bianca's voice that you're hearing. Oh, go ahead,
He was
Punky.
knocked out for like 5 minutes. Nick tried to pick him up, but it was dead weight. So then Nick dropped him. Pow! Then he bust his head.
Oh my God.
I was like, oh, he's dead for sure now.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
See, this is why I call people on this Zoom or this chat or whatever the hell, this podcast. That's why I call us wildebeest, because we just sort of think this is normal. Like, we're just like, oh yeah, that guy that we all know gets his ass kicked. Okay.
Sad. Who needs friends or who needs enemies when you have friends like these, right?
Hello. Okay, so Bianca and Lee have joined us, and I sort of did a quick intro for everybody. Do you guys want to throw out your socials before this gets completely derailed? We don't have to, but you totally can.
Yes, my name is Bianca Sia. I do a podcast called How Neil Feel with Neil Brennan, and my IG is I fucks with Bianca. IFUX Bianca.
I don't have my advertisement prepared.
That was on the fly.
That is very good. I am Lee, Leigh.L.Q on Instagram. That's my personal. But then my pastry business Did I tell you I was a pastry chef?
What? You guys, brand new information.
You guys, newsflash. At Abington Ave Pastry, ABINGTONAVEPASTRY. And I just made Black Forest cake for Steve Simone's going away, and it was fucking delicious.
Wait,
and I have little mini cupcakes that everybody's going to get to taste, and I wish you guys could have some.
Amazing.
You get them? Mm-hmm.
We have to get to the Steve Simone thing in a second. That's in the list of, we have a ton of questions that people have asked, so we got to get to those. But Punky, do you want to throw out your socials whilst you're sitting in this restaurant eating? Oh, good. She's chewing. So that's helpful.
It's Punky, PUNKIE, Johnson, JOHN, wait, that's my fucking email.
Well, that's out there.
What's your phone number too, Crazy?
She's like, and my password
Yeah.
is...
And my mom's maiden name and my favorite pet. Good, Punky.
Is she on mute?
But she keeps doing it to help me because the sound is too loud at the goddamn restaurant where she is whilst I'm trying to record a motherfucking podcast.
She couldn't prioritize us? Is that what?
No, she was hungover and I told,
knew.
and she said
She
she's
knew.
good. Yeah, she knew. I know. This is why I sent texts, emails. I confirmed. It's all good. I'm not mad. I knew.
You can only do what you can do, boo.
I know. And you know what? In my head, I was like, Bianca's going to be 10 minutes late and Punky may or may not show up. This was in my head.
That's rude. I was 7 minutes late. I'm feeling like you're wearing a shirt that says stop killing Black people, but stop judging Black people too, Kate. Okay? Because somehow the white people are getting off scot-free.
Always. It's always privilege, baby. Wait, Lee, what'd you say? Punky.
Nothing.
Oh, we're talking to Punky.
She was at the sandwich shop down the street from her house.
That's great for the listeners. They really, that's the important detail.
She used to work there. So when I went to visit her in New Orleans, I went in, and it's like she's like a celebrity when she walks in there. It's hilarious. But I don't know if that's where you are because it's so dark.
Mm-hmm. Well, she told me she'd go outside eventually, but she keeps shoving food in her mouth. So I don't,
I'm listening out.
I don't know what she said. This is going to be fun to edit. Okay. So I'm going to start in on these questions because people have a lot of them. Well, first was how much did you all miss doing this every week? And I mean, for me, a lot. I was like, oh, this was kind of a fun part of quarantine. Editing hell, but definitely this was a fun little thing. So if anyone's going to be present, I mean, Bianca's looking at her phone. Lee just got up and walked away.
Damn it, I'm a professional.
I miss it because it really like I don't know. It's strange because it feels like it was years ago already,
my God.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it definitely gave me something to like it was like an appointment that I could keep every week that sort of kept things normal. And we got to, like, you and I, Kate, ended up getting so close, which I did not, it's just like, that's one of my favorite things about the quarantine thus far is how many new relationships I formed with people that I wouldn't have had the chance to do that with otherwise, I think. You just get put in interesting situations.
Punky, did you miss doing this every week?
I 100% did. It gave me something to look forward to. It gave me clarity because it's always good to talk to people who have a good idea. Because like y'all know where y'all at in y'all life. Y'all know what y'all want. Y'all are very like set in your brain of, you know who you are basically. And it's really good to be around people like that and that energy, especially in this time, because it's hard. People are going crazy out here. A lot of them are.
And it's hard to stay motivated. Like in that time, I think it would have been so easy for everybody to just kind of sit and stare at a wall for 4 months and get lost in like the crazy of it and feel unmotivated or, just feel lost in it. And so I think it's fun to be around people who are like, okay, how am I going to keep my hustle going through this stuff? And it's motivating to stay to be with people who aren't like just giving up to like giving it all up to the ether,
It's fun. That was some of the feedback that I got was like, it was interesting. They were saying, well, Bianca's still doing her podcast and Lee's got her business and Punky's still, because Punky, you talked about in several episodes how you were taking meetings and you were on your grind and you said, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. you are working. That was your thing. And I think, that was some of the feedback I got too. That's interesting that you guys tuned into that as well, that it was, that we were not part of the group of people that became instantly lost and instantly depressed. Not that there's anything wrong with being in that grouping, but it did help me a ton too, because I was going through chaos at the time. So it helped to have people be like, hold on, right size this. This isn't as insane as you think it is. It's going to be okay. So it definitely helped. All right. So the next question I got was, is anyone back to work in our crew? I am not.
I am.
Punky, are you back to work?
No, I just drink for a living.
Okay. That's okay. That's on
Just,
brand.
I got 2 producers attached to 2 shows right now. So it's just like the work is up to me. Like I just got to get them these pitches and make sure they're good and solid so we could go in to a network. But the good thing is I got 2 producers and that's it.
Okay.
I got one more thing going on, but I can't talk about that on here. I'll tell you guys later.
Okay. And you haven't gone back to the store though, Punky, because you said you're now in New Orleans. So was it pitched to you that bartenders aren't necessarily needed right now, or you just volunteered? You just said, take me out of the rotation.
Yeah, you can't live out there making that. We was making money,
Yeah.
We are a certain lifestyle, and I don't know how to go to that. What I can do is come by my mama and save all the money that I'm getting though. So when I go back to LA, I'll be fine.
Yeah. And then Bianca, Are you working, Bianca? Besides your podcast, which you obviously are still recording.
Yeah, no, I'm doing podcasts. I'm not back at the store. I'm just doing the podcast. We're getting more and more sponsors, which is more and more money for me. Thank you. And more listeners. Like, I don't know what happened, but as soon as it was like Chris D'Elia and then the Black Lives Matter movement picked up, and our listenership like went through the roof with those 2 things for some reason. And now everyone's podcast is getting taken down. I'm like, yes.
Wait, really?
It'll be the last one standing.
Who?
No, just like, so Chris's, congratulations. Fighting the Kid, Callan and Schaub.
They came down?
They just are going on hiatus.
Okay, we're going to get, I've been hammered with comedy questions that they wanted you folks to weigh in on. So we're going to get there, but I don't want to.
I'm just saying that like
there's an opening.
Secretly, I'm like, is there going to be no one doing podcasts? Like, more sponsorships for me.
There's going to be like the whole lineup at the Comedy Store is going to be completely empty.
So that's
all the guys are getting passed.
We're getting there. Yes.
I'm kidding.
Well, people are really want to know. So we will absolutely get there. Go ahead, Bianca.
And then I'm just working on writing projects and getting a lit manager. Like I'm
good for
in
you,
talks
girl.
with like a particular lit manager that's I'm just like, please God, Jesus, let this work. But yeah, so I'm just like, okay, take out a side gig job that helps supplement your income. Okay, cool. So what the fuck else are you gonna do when that's gone? Yeah. And that's where I'm at. And it's like some people are going down, some people are losing focus. And I do think that, to answer your earlier question, it was very nice to have this because this podcast, it really broke up the monotony. It broke up the like, okay, what the fuck is this life? And then we met with each other and everyone was still grinding and everyone's still doing stuff. I think it kept us a little bit more focused. That like, yo, don't lose focus. This is just temporary. Like actually thrive right now. So I feel like everybody, all 4 of us have actually thrived a little bit more in quarantine.
I would 100% agree with that I feel way more focused creatively. And Lee, you had said in earlier episodes that you had now had all this time to, okay, now it's time to really become the pastry chef. Not that you weren't, but that you were, I got to market my business. What does this look like? So Lee, specifically for you, because of the 4 of us, you're the only one that's physically back at the Comedy Store. Yeah. How is it?
It's weird. I mean, it's great in some ways. I was so annoyed because I was annoyed and grateful, I should say, #grateful that I'm chosen to be one of the 5 people in the rotation to work, but also I just was I'm like, I don't want to be a fucking parking lot cocktail waitress. I'm going to start smoking cigarettes just so I can ash in people's food and tell them to kiss my grits. Like, I don't. So
can you explain? So not everybody understands or has seen the social media for the Comedy Store. When you say parking lot cocktail waitress, why do you say that?
Oh, so we can't. The only things that are allowed to be open in LA right now are restaurants that serve food. So you can't just go somewhere and drink. We literally have to sell food with every drink, or every table has to order something to eat with their drink. So, and nothing can be inside. So they're pulling all the tables that they can socially distanced into the parking lot and on the patio. And so they've strung like lights. It doesn't look bad. They've actually done a really nice job. They've strung lights over the parking lot to give it some ambiance. But at the beginning, it was just like, this is not the dream. I'm going from like, now I'm like figuring out how I don't want to wait tables anymore, or how to not wait tables anymore, like building the business. And then you go back to a job that's not even close to what you left in the first place. I don't know. It was just, it was strange. But when I got there, the people were so happy to just be able to be back and sit there, even if it was in a parking lot outside with no comedy, because there's still no live entertainment. So essentially the Comedy Store is just bar and grill right now, or if you could call it that. And they figured out that they can do live streaming of podcasts from the original room onto a TV screen. And that's the only way and it's like got a minute delay or something. So it's not technically live. So people come, like last night, people went up to watch Sam Tripoli's podcast in the parking lot. Like he was in the OR recording it, and then the TV in the parking lot and the TV on the patio were broadcasting it at a minute delay. So people are really happy to be there, and they're tipping well because they're just like, please don't close. Like they're just really grateful.
That's actually nice to hear. I thought that there might be we don't have any money, so we can't tip. So I'm glad to hear that people are grateful.
Yeah, no, they're literally like people, like the schlubby people that you used to be like, ugh, I don't want them. They are actually tipping 20%. So, and I've gotten, there's some people, some comedians that are going through some things right now that I've seen that I'm getting tipped more than I've ever gotten tipped from them before. I'm like, I'll take your fucking blood money right now. Thank you.
We know the secrets. Okay. And the other question about work I got was, are you being asked to wear a ridiculous face shield?
Yes, I have to wear a mask and then a face shield over it.
Okay.
It's like, it's fine, but then by the end of the night, you just want to rip it off because you feel so claustrophobic. And then also, we all have our little shtick when we go up to the tables and you want to be charming and cute. They can't fucking hear what you're saying. Oh. So I'll go through this whole I'm so funny thing, and they're just staring at me. I'm like, what's happening? And they're like, what? I'm like, never mind. What do you want to fucking drink?
Yeah, you're like, my ego's taking a hit. Okay. And are people commenting about your new policies? I don't totally understand this question, but I guess are people, I guess I understand it. Are people just saying, oh, take your face shield off, or why do you have a mask on? Or are people just whatever, we get to be out?
No, they're just really grateful to be there. I can't tell you how many people have been like, thank you so much for being here and being willing to work. And like, people just are grateful, honestly. Like, it's nice. I've had one asshole customer after day 4 of my first weekend, and it was like, and I'm ready for my 3-week vacation because I'm on like a rotation with 2 other servers. So I'm working every 3rd weekend.
Oh, okay.
And, that first 4 days, I was like making money. People were so happy. They were over tipping, all the shit. And then I had this one guy come in at the very end. I was doing last call on the 4th day. And he was just like, do you want to be my next ex-wife? And all this shit. And I was just like, oh God, I knew it couldn't be perfect forever. And then I ended up yelling at him and telling him I didn't care about him. And then he complained.
He pulled a Karen and talked to the manager.
It's amazing how you can just slide right back into your old attitude problems.
Mm-hmm. Punky, if they asked you to bartend today, obviously you're in New Orleans, but if you were in LA, would you start bartending right away?
Hell no.
Okay. Okay. Great.
I'm not going back to the Comedy Store. I have decided in my life that I'm not going back to that place. I'll do comedy there, but I'm no longer going to work there. I quit. I fucking quit. It is time to move the fuck on, Punky.
You've heard it here first, you guys.
I know. I was going to say the last thing that Punky told us was that she would always work at least one day a week. What changed your mind, Punky?
You just gotta, I don't want to go back to that life,
Okay.
Period.
It's exhausting. Honestly, like being back here, the 4 days that I was working was, I came home and was exhausted after having like not been running around, and then you are on your feet for 7 hours. Like, baking in a kitchen is one thing, but like walking around and trying to navigate this new system, you have to like wander around in circles to get anything because it's not really streamlined because it's a makeshift restaurant essentially in a parking lot. So there's no normal in and out door or way to get anything done efficiently. So you're walking an extra million steps. Anyway, by the end of that first 4 days, I was like, I'm fucking exhausted. Like it's a lot of work.
Well, and we were also training, essentially. We were, putting in the reps and the time to make it seem normal to do all the laps at the store and stuff. Okay. So we've already sort of established this, but just really quick, just to follow up on this question, what city is everybody in right now? Well, I'm in Milford, Ohio.
Milford.
Yeah. It's tiny. Where are you ladies?
It did look very beautiful, the green, and then you posted a picture of a deer or something like that. It's like, okay, that's pretty.
Yeah, I'm sick of all of goddamn deer, but
You in this place that your picture is, or is it fake?
no, this is a fake background. This is fake. I don't know how to turn it off.
She was rich.
Kate's
No.
got headquarters.
No, it looks like a New York loft. It's like I can't. I don't know how to get rid of it. I set this up on Skype ages ago, and I'm like, well, whatever. This is just the thing it's gonna be.
Okay, good. I was like, damn, Kate, I didn't know you were loaded in
No.
Milford.
Don't got it like that. Nope. But
I was doing a Zoom call after I had done like some late night birthday Zoom with all the 8,000 servers, and I still had a picture of somebody's penis behind my head, and I was like, whoopsie.
I love it. All right, Bianca and Lee, what cities are you in? Obviously, you're together right now. Where are you guys?
Los Angeles.
Okay, and then Punky, where are you? Punky's not listening. Punky.
All right, guys, I'm getting like fully connected right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. Oh, look at her. Committed to the podcast, not but 30 minutes in. That's great. Finally, we're tuned in.
Okay.
Oh, guys. Oh, Punky's.
I'm all the way tuned in now. Now I can hear y'all. I can hear now. I can see now. I'm good. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Now I can hear you better. But
Kate, you know what, Kate? I don't even fucking believe her. She's gonna go. She's gonna need to run a motherfucking errand. She's gonna go buy some crab legs.
But you know it's great that at least we got her at some point. Like it took 30 minutes, but we got her. Hey guys, Punky's joined the podcast.
I got Nick ordering me some food right now, so he's entertained.
Wait, didn't you just eat?
We just had a snack, and then I ain't like that nigga attitude. So I was like, you know what? We'll take the check.
The server. You know she could be.
Wait, so what?
And you know what? I'm still nice. I'm still kind and generous. I still tipped him more than 20%. That little bitch.
So wait, you're in New Orleans now, Hammy? Tell the world.
Yeah. What city?
I'm in New Orleans now. Once I found out I could work from home, seriously, my dream has always kind of been to make it in Los Angeles, but live in New Orleans and fly to Los Angeles whenever I needed to fly.
Oh, that's great.
So I'm kind of living there right now. I mean, I wanted to be able to buy a fucking house. That was the dream. I didn't want to be living with my mom at fucking 35 years old. But hey, you know, I wasn't specific with the universe and the Lord.
You better get your prayers more
in the
specific,
details.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was talking to the Lord. He was like, look, bitch, you fucking said what you want. I gave you what you want. And I affected the whole fucking world to give you what the fuck you wanted. So calm down.
No, this is all your fault.
Oh yeah, thanks, Punky.
This is all my fault, bitch.
So Punky, do you see yourself going back to Los Angeles then, or are you posted? Like this is it. You're in New Orleans. Like, did you move all your stuff?
I don't need all that shit. When you over it, you just be like, nope. I just bought like maybe 4 shirts. I bought like 10 pair of drawers, 6 pair of socks.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4 pair of jeans, and like 5 pair of shoes.
Wait, you just bought a whole new wardrobe because you're never coming back?
No, I bought that from Los Angeles. I ain't buying nothing. No, I ain't buying shit.
You bought it. Okay.
No,
brought.
Oh, I heard that wrong too. Okay.
Y'all, listen, girl. I brought all the same to me, bitch.
Okay. Now, are you able to talk about your relationship sitch, or should we brush past this?
All I can say is, you know, it is what it is.
Okay.
And I'm home with my mother.
Okay. We're gonna keep going.
Official statement.
Safely.
Moving on.
She's safe.
Yep,
Yes.
great. That's all we care about. And
Safe.
the question we got was, if you left Los Angeles, why? Well, I think I answered that in all the previous episodes. I had a mentally ill roommate.
I didn't want to be an idiot. They got so many people out here that just being really, really stupid with the money that they're getting. And like, I can't do that. I mean, of course I'm going to make some shitty decisions and, you know, I'm out, I go out and I eat. But like, I got a friend, for instance. She's like, I got to wait for my unemployment to come in next week so I can buy a blue wig. It's like, what the fuck did you just say to me?
Yeah.
You know, because I just think it's like right now I'm just trying to be very smart and very strategic with every move that I make moving forward. You know, because I don't know. You just never fucking know.
A lot of people were not. I mean, that's the one thing I think all of us have in common is that all 4 of us were really hesitant to spend any money because we were all just
scared.
We don't know how long this is going to last.
Yep.
Spend so little money.
I just keep like going. I check my bank account. And I'm like, still there? It's still there. Like, it's just like,
Usually you check your bank account and let's say it says like $3,000. I have more than that.
Who's got it like that? Okay, Bianca. Shit.
This is an example. I have more than that. So let's say it's 3 Gs, right? And then that 3 G stays in your mind. So you keep spending, but you still kind of remember like, well, I have 3,000, so maybe I have like 2,900 now or something. And you go back and it's like 1,500. You're like, oh, no. Like don't you're not really monitoring. You don't have a good sense of, especially because it's so easy to swipe a card. And
They didn't grilled onion, so I got you an extra side of raw.
Nick's on the podcast now. Thanks, Nick. Thanks for the grilled onions, buddy. Appreciate you. This is chaos. Okay, I'm so sorry, Bianca. Punky needed grilled onions. Whoa, she's taking a shit on the podcast, guys. It's fine.
If you ever go to eat anywhere with Punky,
she's like,
it doesn't matter what the fuck she's eating. She wants grilled onions on it.
Yeah, and put some grilled onions on it. Okay.
Okay.
Ew, look at her face. Ew, rude. That's a defensive grilled onion face.
You guys don't turn Punky's energy off. It took us 30 minutes to get her focused. I swear to God, let her have the grilled onions.
Big stop right now. Dude. Point is that.
Yes, motherfucking yes. Anyway, life's been good. I've been eating better. I've been working out. I mean, I still got a big old fat stomach because I can't stop eating all the time. I've been sleeping good. I'm peaceful. Mama's taking good care of me. I just love spending time with my parents because my parents are like my friend.
Aww.
So, but my mama be like, don't let this friendship fool you. I'll still bat the fuck out. I'll be like, okay, ma.
Mama's good at boundaries.
Okay,
that's good. Okay.
Yes.
So how different is New Orleans handling the coronavirus, or how do you feel? Do you feel like, I don't know, has the response made you aware of how LA may have done things right or wrong? Or are you thinking, it's kind of the same?
Girl, New Orleans is first of all, we got a black mayor and this bitch ain't playing. You would think she'd play. You'll think she would be ghetto and be like, y'all be out there doing whatever y'all want, girl. We don't care, bitch. This New Orleans. No, this whole it's crazy. She is calling businesses out by name on the news. Ooh. She's not talking in general. She's not saying, hello, everyone. If you keep playing, I'm going to shut your business down. She like, no, see that Walmart over there on Bullitt? Ooh. One more time here, and I'm going to shut you down. Like, she's on the news saying shit like that.
Oh, see, don't fuck with black women. I mean, that's just the deal.
Everything shut down. Me and Nick just tried to go to one of my favorite spots, and it was closed. And everything's closed. Everything's closed. The restaurant that we have right now, they closed. There's no dining. So everybody's standing outside. So it's just you in New Orleans, you can't do no to-go drinks no more. And we don't know what that means. Like what? We can't take the drink outside. What?
Wait, but we live in LA now. How is it that New Orleans style drinking has taken over the rest of the world, and now you guys can't actually drink outside?
Yeah,
that doesn't make sense.
Because y'all know in LA we know how to take our drink and get the fuck. These motherfuckers start a whole party. They'll just stand outside your establishment. All the motorbike boys come up, everybody in the Jeeps, and then it's a whole damn party. Now we having church.
They don't go home.
They don't go home.
So it's to interrupt that. Okay.
When the mayor made that law, everybody was like, girl, whatever, this New Orleans. Every person that sold a to-go cup is now shut down.
Really?
Ooh.
The new law is you have to go home. You cannot.
It was a one strike you out.
Yeah.
I told you not to do it. You did it. Now everybody got chains on their doors.
Well, I talked to someone in Los Angeles who was saying that the compliance officers in LA are in direct conflict with the compliance officers that are in like the interior cities like West Hollywood or Santa Monica. And a West Hollywood compliance officer can say, okay, the way this is set up is okay. You can stay open, all is well. But then if the LA County compliance officer comes in and says, nope, this is shut it down, the ultimate authority becomes the LA County compliance officer, and that they're sort of like bucking up against each other and trying to have some big flex of, no, I decide. And it's messing up businesses. Have you
FBI versus police officers?
Essentially, that's what I've heard, and that the Comedy Store is becoming a fallout of that the West Hollywood compliance officers came in and said, okay, yes, you can have people perform behind the glass in the original room and do comedy. And then the LA County officers came in and said, that's live entertainment, shut it down. And the person I spoke to said, you can just pull the curtains, and if it's just audio, all of a sudden it's no longer a live performance. And that person was like, this is insane. And that feels insane to me too.
But it's not, I mean, so as far as the way that I understood it was not the difference between the two compliance officers. It's that we had one that was working with us, and then that person went on vacation. So then another person was taking his place for a while. And so everything he said we could do, the other guy came in Also, there was some issues with people's egos getting in the way talking to the compliance officer.
What? That feels
So
impossible.
when the second guy came up and started questioning things, somebody apparently had too big of an ego, and that guy was like, "Oh, you want me to show you how powerful I am? Can't do shit anymore." So that was the first thing, and then they shut down even the broadcast of the podcast through the television in the parking lot. But apparently, this is what I'm finding out, is like they've been doing things and then waiting for the compliance officer to come and say you can't do that instead of asking.
It's a risky model.
It's easier to say I'm sorry than to ask
permission. Ask permission, yeah.
So they did the window, but nobody told them they could do the window.
They just did it.
Yes. So, and it was great. But then everybody was like, why is this? People were asking me, why is that any different from live entertainment? I'm like, I honestly don't know, but I thought it had been approved. But apparently it wasn't, because the compliance officer that's actually our friend came by and was like, yeah, no, you can't do that. It's too much. So now,
so they can't do window?
Can't do window anymore. So now we're back to just broadcasting podcasts.
Damn, the window was cool.
The window was really cool. It was like comedy in a fishbowl, but it was really cool. That's over. It ended Thursday. So we're back to
And this is the kind of stuff that...
I would say, though, like, it would be better to just work with the compliance officer and pick a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody agree.
They did, and that's the live streaming to the television with like a teeny little delay, so it's not officially live.
Right,
but that's the thing, is like everybody's stressing out because they're not making enough money to make it worth their while to be open. So they're trying to figure out how to get a crowd that they can sustain enough business with and to pay people, because the managers are, I mean, I don't want to,
their hours,
but like they're struggling right now, like, because we were all being taken care of for a really long time, and that's awesome, and I'm really grateful that we were, but like those days are over, and now they're trying to figure out how to make enough money to at least keep their management staff on, and that's what this is about. And it's not working. I mean, it's working, but not well enough. You know what I mean?
That's scary.
It's like managers are doing security, managers are bartending, all that stuff.
Taking up the slack with the wait staff.
And I think that that's another misconception. I didn't get a question about this, but I've heard people in other podcasts and out and about talk about this, that those of us that are on unemployment are getting really comfy and just being paid to stay home, and we're really excited and we're never going to want to go back to work. And this is sort of that narrative of the lazy people.
Oh, it pisses
me off. Me too.
Because you have more of an issue with minimum wage hourly workers getting a little bit of money than the billionaire 1%. I mean, the distribution of wealth, the inherent predatory nature of capitalism, it's insane. And when you really get down to it, when you really start, I mean, I'm not going to bore everybody to death with like my view of capitalism, but you have to have a profit for capitalism to work. And that's inherent, that is like built into the fabric of our economic system. So when you realize how rich billionaires are getting right now in the economic crisis, billionaires and Wall Street and a lot of like Wall Street CEOs, like their bonuses, like everyone is getting rich, which is why, and I've always thought this, Wall Street is not a good indicator of how the economy is doing, because the economy is doing terrible and Wall Street is thriving. And everybody connected to Wall Street is thriving while we are all getting what? $600 a week, and somehow we need to be like
reprimanded, or like shamed.
We're not worthy. Thank you so much. Like, hell no. Guess what? I'm going to get a return on all the taxes I've paid for a very long time. This is what we're getting. We're getting our taxes back. Granted, we have to balance a budget and we have to figure out where all this is going to come from. It's not going to come from, unfortunately, it's that like Trump saying tax holiday. This is a bad idea. I mean, it sounds good because it's like, hey, payroll tax holiday, but you know, we have to pay Medicare and Social Security somehow. Anyway, whatever. Let's not make it too heavy. But it is so weird to me. It's like, if you have a problem with minimum wage, like lowest echelon in tax brackets getting a little bit of financial assistance, then you better have so much more to say about everything else. If you have nothing else to say but that, then you're ignorant, and go get more educated, because your point is like null and void in my opinion. Okay, sorry.
I know. I Come on, snaps. Come on, Bianca. That's facts. And this actually transitions into the comedian discussion because a lot of comics are saying, you know, the amount of money they were paying in taxes in California is making them leave. And we have heard of, since in the last couple of weeks, I have been told a lot of comics are packing up and leaving Los Angeles and are saying that it's permanent. And I have obviously been barraged with questions about, did I know that so-and-so was going to be accused of blah, blah, blah. And of course, I refuse to answer any of that. And I don't want to get into the specifics of what we do or don't know or allegedly whatever. But I do.
Well, not, girl, is Brian Callen out here fucking these little children? What happened, bitch? When I saw this shit, I said, oh, Lord, Chris, they going after your friend, boy. They going after your friend, Chris. Get him. Oh, Lord. Oh, man.
Store
Ooh,
has
the store.
whole-
Yeah.
What's going on, Brian?
But on that note, so a vast majority of the main stage comedy store comics are the ones that are getting accused, and a lot of them are leaving. So do you guys think that, like, what is the Comedy Store going to look like, you know, when all the dust settles? Because I've heard, I guess Joe Rogan is obviously leaving, Theo Vaughn is leaving, Joey Diaz is leaving. Who else? I guess Steve Simone is leaving.
He's leaving at least till the end. He's like, I'm coming back, guys. He's just going to live in Florida with his mom because he's like, why am I paying rent here? And then Eleanor is going back to Philly.
I thought I saw that. That's true. Is she permanently going?
Is she like moving?
I mean, so they're trying to buy people out of her apartment building. So they gave her a shitload of money. So she's like, well, fuck it. I'm taking the money and I'm just going to go back to Philly. So, I mean, I don't think that anybody thinks it's permanent, but I think no one knows when they're officially coming back.
Yeah.
But she's definitely leaving like soon.
I mean, Punky, you left.
I know. She's like, what? Like,
But
yeah.
Joey Diaz even stopped.
It's just Eleanor.
He's not doing his podcast.
Yeah,
anymore.
Joey Diaz stopped his podcast.
Why?
Wow.
We're done, and like he bought a house in Jersey, I think, and he's just moving his family to Jersey to have like a normal life. And
So is he done with
it's
comedy?
weird to me. I just don't. I don't know where to stop the podcast, but
Shit's getting weird, dude.
shit's just getting weird.
I will say though, the Comedy Store, there's a large part of comedians and like newer comedians that the Comedy Store was not tapped into.
Sure.
Like they were all friends of the store for a long time, you know. So I do think like, as far as the Comedy Store is concerned, if they get kind of just focused on what to do for themselves and can change their strategy on the vibe of comics that they let in, I think they'll be perfectly fine. Because comedy still is in its it's in its prime still. But there's a lot of comedians that I love that like are almost never at the store. They're at the store on someone else's show.
Yeah,
the Comedy Store's definitely hard to get into once if you're not in that like club.
Well, if you're not a white bro, it's really, really hard to break free from that or to get on stage.
I think they have an opportunity to put a little more diversity.
Yeah, I agree.
Instead of, because I think they just chose people who've like been there for a long time and they're homies, people, friends of the store. Whereas now it's like, I mean, the lineup's gonna look real different. Neil keeps like, if anyone has any dirt on Sebastian or Ali Wong, it's like I will be the only one on the lineup.
Well, I don't think it's possible with Sebastian. I mean, anyway.
That's why it's like the most wholesome people.
Yeah, like he's so lovely. So Bianca, do you think like is Neil worried that he may have to leave LA? Not because he's gonna get. I'm not dipping into the accused or anything. I'm not saying he would be or is or whatever. But I mean more that if the comedy industry starts spreading outward, because Joe's gonna open a club in Texas. So if that stuff starts to happen, does he think he may leave?
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
People. I'm just gonna go on a rant. I'm gonna go on a Banky rant.
Here we go.
Don't make life decisions under duress.
Yeah, it's silly.
Yeah.
This is all gonna blow over. I'm not talking about Hammy. I think her decision is sound. Like Eleanor, yeah. But like these people have been famous for so fucking long. Do you know how conservative Texas is? Even if you go to Austin,
Yeah.
it's liberal for Texas.
And it's also the teeniest little town. So I'm
It's
like,
teeny.
you're
Isn't
going to
it?
get there and be like, oh my God, I'm so fucking bored.
People, and I'm not talking about Rogan. I think Rogan knows what he's doing. He's a master of his own destiny. He has plenty of money. He can do all his podcasts, whatever. You know, he's fine. But like, I don't think these people realize when you have never settled down in the last like 30 fucking years of your life and you've never had a normal lifestyle and you can always like there's a reason why people live in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And a forced retirement, like, you know what, this is a good time. I think this is giving people this false idea that things are slowing down. I feel like people are like, even though it sounds crazy, I think people are like, maybe we should have a baby because like there's not that much going on right now. Mm-hmm. So if there's not that much going on, why the fuck would I be in LA? But when shit starts popping, because in a creative drought, because people are consuming shows and television and everything so rapidly because we're home a lot. So I'm like, this shit's gonna boom. I've been on auditions. Hammy's been on auditions. People are gonna create. And when you're in Texas or you're in God knows wherever the fuck that you ran away from to come to LA, and you start realizing when shit starts turning back on, I think people are gonna have they're just gonna have a more of a reality check. You know, so I think right now this is all like puppy dogs and ice cream. I don't think this is the reality. Even wherever you go, I think people are making weird moves right now because of how it feels right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can't say what tomorrow is going to be like, but this is a virus. Viruses are like a bell curve. You know, they always do come down. They will maybe kill a lot of people.
According to Trump, things go away. Mm-hmm. This will go away. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh, thank you, sir. That's amazing.
I feel so much better.
His favorite park is Yosemite.
Yeah. No, I cannot even. I refuse.
In the park, he's like calling for Jewish people. Yosemite.
Girl, I do not want to talk about the Orange Goblin. I refuse. It makes me so angry. I like want to.
You're living in Trump country right now, too, right?
Yes.
You have to like deal with the crazy.
I have to.
Sorry, guys. I must admit, I tapped a confession. I really, really like Donald Trump.
Oh my God! What? You're out of your mind.
How, you idiot?
You know,
I don't think he should be the president, but I mean, if he was like one of my homies, I'd be like, come on, nigga, let's go. Like, he's so stupid. He's the funniest public speaker I've ever seen in my life. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Worse.
No. Listen, I watched every single episode of Celebrity Apprentice. I fucking liked him before. Like, there was something charismatic. He maybe in a dumb way.
He's not. I think my favorite. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Like, he's so dumb.
He's got dementia.
And I love dumb people.
Enter Nick and Feng Chao.
Oh.
You guys.
Listen up. Feng Chao. Donald Trump.
Feng Chao and Donald Trump.
I think my favorite part of Donald Trump was when he was coming down that rail.
Oh my God, the rail, that was weird.
Wait, the rail.
Where he fell. He slid.
Like, they tried to get me with the rail, but I won.
Okay, I will say, I'm jealous of people who have to learn about, I'm jealous of high schoolers in the future who have to learn about American history because they literally, the chapter on Donald Trump is going to be, everyone's going to be like, I found this tweet. Well, he said grab him by the pussy. He has like so unlimited. One time he was literally standing next to Melania and he's like, thank you so much. I really wish Melania could be here today. And she was like, I am here. I'm right here. And he's like, I wish she could have been here today. I'm like, she's right next to you fucking psycho.
He can't see past his head.
So, like, I would say, look, two parts of Donald Trump. One, god-awful, like, mouth-breathing human garbage dump. But the other part is, it is entertaining. If it wasn't our country, if this was, I don't know, Canada.
Yeah.
Let's put it farther away.
Yeah.
If this was
Brazil.
I don't know, Qatar. If this was Qatar, I'd be like, that guy's so funny. You know?
We'd be tuning in as though it was like a sitcom or something like that. Just to be like,
yeah. Like, he does not need to be the president. Like, no, absolutely not. But if he wanted to be my friend, I would definitely be his friend.
No, he's a racist. He is a racist. And he's racist. So
I was gonna say rapist, yes.
Racist. Yes. Wait, say that 5 times.
Racist.
All right, I'm changing the subject because I can't. It's making me too angry.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, so I do want to address this. I'm tired of being asked about the comics who have been accused of, the various sexual crimes. How are you guys actually responding to that? I mean, I assume you get asked because of where we work, or Punky because you're a comic. Are you all just saying deflect, I don't want to talk about it? Because it's just it's such a fraught conversation, and I feel like I don't know. I just don't want to, I don't want to be part of the glorifying it, or I don't know. This is probably a terrible question that we can skip past because this is not happy at all.
I just be sweeping shit under the rug, like I just be having the mindset that those comedians are my children. You know what a mother does, you know what? I didn't see it. I don't know. That's just my precious baby. My baby didn't do nothing wrong. Because, I love me some Chris D'Elia, bitch. He ain't do shit. He is innocent.
Oh, God.
He innocent. Michael Jackson is innocent. R. Kelly is innocent.
Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Punky just said R. Kelly's innocent, so you know not to listen to her.
Michael Jackson, MJ, justice for MJ. Sorry for MJ.
Oh, we've already talked about that on this podcast. This is my fault. This is my fault.
Human nature, why?
I don't have the rights. Bianca. Okay.
Everybody is innocent.
All right, Punky. Super helpful.
Kate, you shouldn't have put this question.
I know. It's my fault.
You're gonna do shit on these people.
No, I will, because guess what? What's Chris D'Elia ever done for fucking me? Nothing. Never given me.
Doesn't even tip me.
This is personal, you guys.
Look, but that's the thing, is you're gonna treat, like, you reap what you sow. So if you want people to stand behind you,
Lee.
he never fucking tipped me in the entire history of working at the Comedy Store. He barely acknowledged me when he sat 8,000 fucking whores in my section and then made me wait on them and not give. I'm like, you spread your business around the Comedy Store. We would have five multiple people dating him at the store in different sections at one time. The door guys had to fucking sit them separately so they didn't know each other was there. And then if you waited on them, they got everything for free. They just assumed. He never even asked if he owed anything, and he never fucking tipped. So guess what?
All right. Well, so what? He's a pimp.
Doesn't make me want to have his back.
Yeah.
He has to be.
Punky, you're such an idiot.
And he's not funny. So those two things together make me go, bye, Chris. We don't need you, boo-boo. You were rich anyway. You grew up in the fucking entertainment business. Your daddy will take care of you. Bye-bye.
And you said his podcast is going away?
Oh, no. I just think it's on hiatus.
Chris has never been funny.
He is funny?
No, Chris is not funny. He was funny like fucking 15 years ago when he was doing the Belly Room on Thursdays. And then he just started laughing at his own jokes instead of actually writing material. So bye, Chris.
Okay, so on that note, what do you think the future of comedy looks like? Because I think it's going to be different with the number of the amount of dismantling that's happening, which, to be honest, a shakeup isn't a bad thing, because it gives, a space for, Punky to bump up earlier on the lineup, or someone like Neil Neil's already super famous, but I don't think it's all bad. But what do you think the future of comedy looks like for us? And do you think we're ever going to sell out again? Do you think the Comedy Store will have the boom that we left it at before Corona, or are you scared of that not happening?
If we can ever reopen, I think people are going to be flocking, and I don't know how long it'll last. If we can provide the lineups to keep them there once they get over like the initial excitement, I think it's going to be diverse as fuck. I think it's going to be a lot of women and a lot of non-white comedians.
I came from a black comedy club, Comedy Union. I was there for 3 years before I worked at the store. And the amount of times I had to put down my tray so I didn't spill my drinks. Like, there's so much. I hate that we kind of do divide comedy sometimes, black comedy and comedy.
Yeah. Black
comedy and white comedy. But I think that's maybe a traditional thing. I really think they should, the amount of talent that just came through the Comedy Union that hasn't seen the 1/10 of the opportunity that people at the store, even just the door guys, have. So it's hard for me to feel very sympathetic for them sometimes, because I'm like, you don't understand how hard other people are working around the country just to get a little bit of exposure.
I agree with that.
And so there's so much untapped talent for me where I'm like, everybody is crying. Everyone's crying, laughing. The person taking the tickets, the dude, Chris in the back, the bartenders, we're all crying, laughing at these jokes. And so I just feel like, there's so much untapped potential. I love everybody, every comic that's been through the store, friends of the Comedy Store. But I do think outside of the Comedy Store's control, there's an opportunity for maybe a reimagining and redefining comics at the store.
It's essentially just broken down the wall of it's like what happened with the servers there. Like when I used to wait tables there in the early days, there was literally someone had to die before you got a shift. And that is how the server staff went, and that's how the bar staff went, and that's also how the comedy runs. And the comedy is the last man standing in that old way of doing business, I think. And the Comedy Store has always been like this cool club that you have to work really hard to get into. I don't think that should change. And I was getting a little annoyed because when they were doing the fishbowl comedy in the window, they were putting up literally anybody that was there because
they needed it.
They needed people to go in the window, and they were having trouble getting people to come up to do that. And I was like, I don't think we should sell out the brand just to have someone to perform. Like, you still have to keep, if you make it not cool to be a part of and anybody can join the club, it's fucking you up.
That's a great point.
To that point, a lot of paid regulars didn't want to do it.
No, and I get it. And I get
they were
why,
like, no.
No,
and
I get why they did it.
Get the fuck up there.
Even a lot of the door guys weren't going up. And it's like, what the fuck? This place just like gave you a place to make money, a place to develop your career that was literally like, you could book anything just by saying that you're a comic in development at the Comedy Store. You could book anything. You can get opening spots for major comics on the road. So I think that there's a lot of entitled people that should have gone up, and I have my own issues with those things as well. That's an inner circle sort of like workings of the Comedy Store complaint. But in general, I don't care. I just think once again, desperate choices are being made, and it's not a good look.
Stop making drastic choices right now.
Guess who makes those choices? Men.
Want. Well, and also I think that they always say, they tell widows, the first year after your spouse passes away, like, don't sell the house, don't make any big decisions, don't move, don't buy a new dress, don't get a tattoo. It's like, yeah, okay. I mean, that,
Don't tattoo, fuck off.
Yeah, well, live your life.
No, it's but yeah, everybody's scrambling, running around trying to like save things. And I get it. It's a scary time, but like, that's when you have to like hunker down the most and really think about things and really let things process instead of making choices out of desperation. Cause it just, at the end of the day, you do what you do now. And then in a year, you're going to have 8,000 comics who aren't paid regulars who are like, wait, I was there when you needed me. And now you're, it's just fucking everything up. There needs to be some form of like rhyme or reason to the way that they're doing things that has a lot that is keeping in line with the policies that the Comedy Store has always had. I think that it's awesome that we are going to have a lot of room for new comics, and I do think it should be more diversified 100%, but it's like you're dumbing it down by just letting anyone in the room.
In the current moment, I would agree. I don't foresee them in the future just having an open door policy, but I would agree that in the current moment, if it's desperation, again, to both your point and Bianca's point, no good decision gets made in the desperation. So a question I was asked is, what would you have done differently if you knew it was actually going to go this long, or would you do anything differently had you been told in March, BTW? Well, first of all, how long do you all see this going? How long do you think? I mean, I think
next year for sure.
I think that
too. We're not going to be back in like live entertainment in LA until at least January.
That's what I think too.
So we're going to be figuring out ways to do it maybe, but like San Diego, I thought they were legally doing it in San Diego, and then everybody just got shut down in San Diego. So they were just winging it until somebody shut them down.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
I think I honestly don't think, sorry, some people are like, it's gonna take years, and I'm like, no, it's not. New Zealand's open, Europe's
South Korea's open.
I mean, it's gonna take us longer because we don't have leadership.
Facts.
Yeah. But also, we're in the middle of like an election. We're in the middle of a lot of civil unrest. So I think there's a lot more going into just besides the virus that's keeping us like in this longer. But I just, the thing about viruses, they come and they go. They do. They come, they go. I mean, with however many deaths, they will go. And I know there's like a global spike right now, but I think it's just like a ripple effect,
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a just imagine like, I don't know, like a carton of water, and it's like bounce against the wall and it bounces back. And I just think there's going to be like, I do think this is going to be like mostly over by next winter, because everything I'm seeing and the auditions I've had are for end of the year filming.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Next year filming. So
Punky, have they indicated to you as far as comedy in general when
Oh yeah, I can do whatever I want.
But would you be willing to if a club in Austin wanted to book you as a headliner, would you go?
Yeah, bitch, hell yeah.
Okay.
You've already done comp. Didn't you open with Pauly Shore in Oklahoma City or something?
Punky, it's so loud. It's so loud.
My manager just talked to me about comedy. He was just like, you want to do comedy? I was like, yeah, if they book me.
All right. I feel like we're losing people. Only a couple more questions and then I'll let you guys go. So would you guys have done anything differently if you had known it was going to go this long though?
I mean, I don't think so because it's like,
I mean, what is there to do?
I don't. What else would I have done? I don't know. Like, I can't. If I'd have gone to Mississippi, I would literally be in my mom's house because they can't go outside. So it's like, I mean, they can go outside and they have a yard because it's Mississippi. So it's like Ohio, you know, It's like pretty and green, but it's fucking hot as balls right now. So I wouldn't be doing shit except for rolling around in air conditioning. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like I would still. It was tough for the first month, but then I'm like, I feel like this was a really interesting experience, and I don't know that I'd want it to be any different than it was for me. A lot of crazy things happened. It was, I don't know, it's just been like a once in a lifetime thing, and I'm sad that people are dying, obviously, and like I know that it's not just a break, like it's actually legitimately a health crisis, and I'm very grateful that I am not sick. But I don't know. I think some things are just blessings in disguise. So I don't think I would have gone. I would have stayed.
Bianca, would you do anything differently?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to.
Okay, so yeah, you would.
No, I would have not dealt with certain situations, certain rude.
Gotcha.
Male situations a little bit, like just problematic men. I get by a lot sooner, but you know what? I really think that if you did this quarantine on your own, for the most part, you are. I mean, I don't think there's anything I can't do. Like, I feel like a superhero. I'm just like, what else can you do to me? Roughly on my own. Like, you know, we saw each other
once a week,
and it broke up the monotony. But like, I mean, Hammy had her own situation, or Punky had her own situation, like emotional situation, and then did some, you know, got herself out of it. I just feel like this was a test of like, who are you? And who are you to yourself? And a lot of people that just kind of clicked up and stayed in, you know, whatever relationships just for the companionship and the support. Good for you. But so I feel like we learned a lesson that you can't put a value on. And you can't redo because it was scary. And now, even if we go back into a pandemic, we kind of know. You know, we don't know that like, that March area of like not fucking knowing shit. That was a scary that I don't think anybody ever felt. And we had to live through it as women on our own, kind of, you know, navigating, what do I do next? You moved, you know, Hammy moved or Punky moved. So like, and me and Lee have been roughly on our own the whole time. So I do think there is something that we have a little bit of an edge on certain people.
We haven't talked about Black Lives Matter at all for this, but that was really interesting time to be in LA, and I'm really grateful that it literally just became a full-time job for us for a couple weeks. Like, we were out every day.
And what a beautiful gift to be able to look back on, you know, even in this time in history and think you actually got to participate in it. We're going to get into that. I don't mean to cut you off, Lee, but I want Punky to answer this real quick. Punky, would you have done anything differently in quarantine looking back on it now? And that mute button's real specific. I don't even think she heard me. Now she's just walking around her house. Oh, there she is.
And I did the thing. My mama watching a movie, so I had to come. I'm glad I get the things the way I did them. I think once they started saying, okay, we're going to open in 2 weeks, because we stopped working March 13th. They was like, we'll be see y'all in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't going to apply for unemployment because I was like, oh, we'll get by in 2 weeks. And then everybody else started applying for unemployment. I was like, oh, shit, this might be for real. And then they was like, we're going to open in May, and then June, and then July, and then August. And then I think in May, I was like, oh, no, I got to figure out how to get out of this shit. You know, I wouldn't change a thing.
Okay. And then to speak to what you brought up in the BLM stuff, Punky and Bianca specifically, do the two of you feel sort of inspired as if, you know, oh, hey, there might be a trajectory where there might be some, you know, some things might actually be shifting, whether it be in the city where you live or just in life in general? Or do you both think, it's kind of business as usual, you know, the moment's over, not going to change, whatever?
I don't understand the question.
Sorry. So, so do you feel like things have actually shifted as a result of the protests and, you know, everything that got brought to light in a more global scale? do you feel hopeful, like, oh, you know, there might be, I don't know, it might be more of an even playing field now? Or do you just think, yeah, the cops are going to do whatever they want, or this is just going to remain as it is, and it's, you know, racism is still going to decide the industry? Or do you think that there was actually a shift as a result of the energy put forth?
I think in the entertainment business, there was a shift.
Okay.
I think a lot of people, but the Men in Blue, absolutely not.
Okay.
You know, and I really hate that, because my parents are cops, and I hate that the good have to suffer for the bad. You know, I hate it, because my parents were awesome. They followed their oath. They did their jobs, and some people just not in it for that.
Well, yeah, and Breonna Taylor still doesn't have justice. But go ahead, Bianca. What were you going to say?
I do feel like there is, I mean, I still march every Wednesday. It is for Jackie Lacey. That's what I feel about them. That's what I feel the most passionate about, because when you really look at, you know, we know so much more about our federal government and so much less about our state government, and our state government affects us 99% more than our federal.
Let me jump in, Bianca. I don't think people outside of LA, or even some people in LA, know who she is, or sort of why there's attention.
I was about to.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So like during this thing, I'm just realizing that, like, okay, people are like, they aren't getting prosecuted. The cops aren't getting prosecuted. I'm like, okay, well, who prosecutes them? And it's the DA. Mm-hmm. And our DA is Jackie Lacey, who is a black woman. And I really I'm very uncomfortable hating on this bitch, but this bitch is a bitch. But she didn't start this process. She just inherited a fucked up system and has done nothing to change it. Mm-hmm. Because the DA before her, like, you know, I think since like the last decade, there's like been almost 1,000, like a little less than 1,000 police killings, like unarmed citizens. So anyways, I force myself to go on Wednesdays because I don't want to get numb to it. I don't want to feel like, okay, cool. And you go there, and these mothers come, and these sisters and these brothers, they come and they tell the story. And when I tell you, people are getting killed for like, you know, that neon green water gun? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This kid was gunned down.
He was a child. That was a child.
It's the same thing as, what was the little kid's name in the park? Was it
Tamir Rice?
Yeah.
Yeah, mm-hmm. But it's like, it's just like you hear these people's stories and they're crying and they're wailing. And I do think it's just like, don't get numb to it. Just don't get numb to it, because it's really easy to forget, you know? And so Jackie Lacey's getting reelected this year. She's up for reelection. Sorry, not getting reelected. Hopefully not. And so if you just keep that energy alive, I just think, you know, I try to take a stand on my podcast and we talk about race a lot, and I can get on my high horse. And I just think you have to back it up at some point. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that the only way to get anybody to do anything in this world is to get them in the pocket, and that's it.
I do think, like, one of the things I learned the most or got more motivated by during the Black Lives Matter marches was definitely local politics again. And I used to, in Mississippi, like, I grew up 100% involved in local politics in every possible way. Like, my parents were involved. And then when I was in high school, I just Googled my name when I was looking for my Skype profile, because I was like, I haven't used this in forever. Maybe it'll pop up. And one of the things that came up was, like, top 4 was, I was a plaintiff in a case suing the Jackson public school system, because I had, like, how do I forget about these things? Because it was, my dad and I were plaintiffs because it was about praying prayer in public school. And it was a big deal in the South at the time. And we won. We went to the appellate court in New Orleans. But there was just so much. And I used to defend abortion clinics, and I used to, you know, rally against people who locally were trying to shut those down. Anyway, it was just like such a big part of my life. And then when you take yourself out of, like, the whatever small area you're from and you go to a new place, you have to, like, reinvest. And sometimes I just got caught up in my life and never reinvested. So in my local community. So I think I was really grateful for this, because it helped me get reconnected to, like, the city that I live in and what's important. I didn't know anything about Jackie Lacey. I think I probably voted for her the last couple elections because she was the Democrat on the ticket. You know what I mean? Which just goes to show how important it is to know, like, it's tedious when you get, like, pages and pages of people that you're voting for. But now it's like, it's more important than ever. So it just reiterated that.
Yeah, I voted for her because she was a black woman. I was like, well, this is good enough for me. I voted for Kamala Harris because she was a black woman. like back in the days. And I'm just like, oh, well, do your research when it comes to government.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
You know
that
what I mean?
this speaks to the larger issue, and exactly to use your wording, Bianca, I hope that we don't become numb, because I do think that the quarantine and the Black Lives Matter marriage was actually beautiful and symbiotic, because we had time to sit in the fact that, like, it wasn't news to Black people that they were, you guys are getting slaughtered in the streets. It was, oh my God, now we have to really sit in on this. And if you think about it, the Ahmaud Arbery situation happened at the very beginning of quarantine, and we talked about it on the podcast, and it was like, wow, that's horrifying and whatever. And then it was like, we couldn't keep up with the names. And I think for some white people, it was like, oh my God, is this happening because of quarantine? And it's like, no, you're paying attention because of quarantine. And that's why you're horrified and thinking, oh my God, look at this laundry list of names. And I think people in those communities were saying, right, we've been dealing with this. And so I do think quarantine allowed for us to fill the streets and allowed for us to have these more meaningful conversations. But that's my biggest fear, is that people are going to get numb or lazy, or that as soon as everything opens back up, it's like, well, we solved it, right, guys? Racism is over and there's justice. It's like, why are we still talking about Breonna Taylor? It is August. Why are we still talking about her? I mean, obviously we know why we're talking about her, but why is...
Like, we thought we solved racism when we elected.
Hello. Well, that's another issue. But anyway...
So we had 8 years of like, everything's great. Isn't this
We're doing great. Yeah.
It just, but it's like, no, we're actually more racist. No, it just shone a light on how actually racist we are.
Yeah.
And this is
But I am hopeful. I think we've talked a lot about a lot of heavy stuff during these quarantine episodes, and I think we've been able to keep it somewhat light. But yeah, I mean, I think that, we're for people that have been very blessed with open minds and the ability to have difficult conversations. And so I'm grateful for you ladies to be willing to be on the podcast again and do this bonus episode and kind of people have been asking, they've had a lot of questions. We didn't even get through all the questions, but I know that everybody's got a schedule they got to keep.
Pick one fun one. Pick one last
fun one. Okay, let me look. Oh, this one I didn't totally... Well, I just put it on the list. What is the food you miss the most from not being able to go get it on the regular? Is there like a meal that either in LA or I guess in New Orleans it's different, but was there a meal that you were like, oh man, as soon as quarantine's over, I'm going to this place and getting this meal. I can't fucking wait.
No, I feel like, because restaurants are open here.
Okay.
But not all restaurants are open though. Some are just like closed because
I'm trying to think of the.
Well, then I'll change. Is there a restaurant or like a place you miss going to that as soon as quarantine's over, you're like, I'm fucking gonna.
Like, sushi is not fun to go.
No, it's not.
I don't like to go sushi. I'm like, you just look at it in the box and you're like, that's it. Like I like getting it in pizza, like the miso.
Yeah.
Miso, as soon as it cools a little, not good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something about sushi is so fucking unsatisfying. And then you just realize you're like, yeah, I just paid all this money for like some rice and I don't know. It just takes the charm away.
So you want to sit in a sushi restaurant, Bianca? Go ahead, Lee. What?
I want to sit.
I'm like so grossed out by delivery services that I mean, I'm more pissed off about that than I am about not being able to go and sit at my favorite places.
Explain.
They're so fucking expensive. Like
yeah,
you spend so much money in fees, and not a lot of it is going to the drivers, and then you have to tip the driver on top of that. Yeah, it's just like it's such a racket, and
it's such a racket.
It pisses me off. Like I almost refuse to order delivery anymore.
I do order delivery.
Yeah, I'm like I'll go get it from the restaurant now because at least the money's going directly to the fucking restaurant.
Yeah, and you know what I did? I bought an Instapot.
Oh, Instapots are the best.
I literally think I'm a classically trained chef.
You're like, this rice is so quick.
Stirring rosemary. And then like in 30 minutes and like, voila.
I'm such a chef.
It is so good.
They are
I've
fun.
eaten so much goddamn stewed cabbage.
That's what you were making out of your Instapot.
That's the Persian Panamanian in you.
I just turned into like an old, like a fucking Polish babushka,
lady,
like a Lee relative, Polish babushka. I gotta make you my.
Hey, Punky.
I can't wait for your.
Punky, is there a place that you want to? I mean, I know you're in New Orleans now, but is there a place that you think about as soon as quarantine's over? You're gonna go sit in this place, have the most fun, like sort of when life gets back to normal. Is there a specific spot you're missing, even if it's in LA? I know you're not there right now, but.
But it's still.
Okay, that's a good answer. Comedy Store.
That's my home. I live there. But I mean,
are you on a boat, Punky? What are
she's
you doing?
She's on a rocking chair. I can see it. She's like going under.
Like, she's giving me.
She's on a swing.
I have sea legs just watching Punky bounce up and down. I'm like, I'm getting dizzy, bitch. I'm hungover. You're making me dizzy. Stop.
All right.
Rocking.
Well, on that note, On that note, we're going to drop your checks now. Thank you so much for listening. If you want to help us out here at Service from Hell, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and tell your friends to listen. It will help us reach more people that need to be schooled on the art of being kind, and will be catharsis for those of us working in the industry still. And if you have stories of your own, we'd love to hear them here. Email us at servicefromhellpodcast@gmail.com, and someone from our team will let you know if we're going to read your story live on air. Remember, if you can't afford to tip, you can't afford to go out, so don't be garbage and be good to people. It's easier that way. Ladies, thank you so much for being willing to do this. I know. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I can't wait for this to be normal and back. And yes, I will be back. I'm not permanently gone, but Punky,
You better come back, you bitch.
Yeah,
bitch.
I'm
you better
sad.
have an LA house. You can have a New Orleans house, but I need you to have an LA house, and then I'll split it with you.
I am back, but after all of this is over.
Yeah.
So, Punky, do you think in January, like that's kind of what you're aiming for?
So I'm not aiming for anything because I was aiming for August.
Okay.
And look where I'm.
And look where you're at. You're on a swing on your mama's porch.
Just for the first time in my life, I have no plans. Like
Ooh.
for the first time, so I'm just like every day I just wake up and I just go through the day. Are we off the podcast?
Oh, I'll turn it off. Are we good? But thank you guys for being here.
Okay, love you.
Love you. Bye.